Well, if you read my blog or have seen any of my courses here at Pluralsight, you know I'm not a big fan of ORMs and data access tools, but let's take a look at some of the better ones for RethinkDB. And I want to start over here at rethinkdb.com in the docs. And you can see that there are so many resources and drivers that you can play with. The officially supported ones are Python and Ruby and JavaScript, but there's a whole lot more, including C# and .NET. If we click over to integrations that I have open over here, this is docs, frameworks, and libraries, you can see all of the extensions and the drivers written by the community. Here's some ORMs. We'll take a look at those. There's Python libraries, and there's ways that you can integrate with other tools like RabbitMQ and Flask. There's a pretty comprehensive list of tools and other things supporting RethinkDB, so have a look through here if you have a moment. But for now, let's take a look at some of the ORMs that you can use, because I know a lot of people don't like working with drivers directly. So there are a bunch of different kinds out there, including RethinkDB-. And this is an interesting project because this is basically a more helpful driver, if you will. It wraps the core RethinkDB driver with just a little bit of elegance. And this is for use with Node, by the way. I should mention that everything I'm going to show you right now is using RethinkDB with Node. So yeah, this actually returns all cursors. They're coerced to arrays by default. Not sure why that's a good thing, but that's what they want to do. In addition, there's a requel promise. If you like working with promises, then you can use this light bit of abstraction to run some queries and then get a promise back. I'm not a promise fan myself, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. All right, well, moving on, we also have RethinkDB Co. This is for use with ECMAScript 6. So if you want to take advantage of some of the new stuff that's coming out, especially Koa, which is the next greatest version of Express, and you want to use generators, well, there you are, you can use that. There's also Reheat, which is a full-blown ORM, and I think this is the one that people talk about the most. I haven't used it, but it's got a ton of convenience methods that might make your life a little bit easier, especially if you like ORMs. And so you can see here how the connection is set, and then you declare your model. You can do various operations with the model, and it even supports promises. So pretty common ORM interface. Again, there's Thinky. Thinky works almost exactly the same way, but it supports associations, as you can see there. So let's take a look at a tool that's not an ORM, and it's called Chateau. And you can install this using npm-g Chateau. And what this is a data explorer. And here I have it running on localhost 3000. But if you want to just explore your data, click through and see things, you can. And it puts it out in a tabular format. So the convenience that this gives you is you don't have to actually sit there and write out all your data queries by hand. You can actually just type things in a form interface here and work with your data directly. On the site, it says it is heavily alpha, so you have been warned. In addition, it's got another neat feature here where you can import data directly in through the interface rather than going through and using the import tool. An interesting project if you like exploring data through an interface. All right, well, the last thing I want to show you is something that I created, and it's called Second Thought. And as I mentioned, I am not an ORM fan. I prefer just lightweight abstraction wrappers, something to make my life easier. And here it is. I wrote this about 2 years ago when I was using RethinkDB for a project. And all this does is kind of abstracts things a little bit for you to make things simple. So one thing it does is it actually creates a table object and sticks it onto a DB namespace. So right there, that is actually a requel table that you can query against. If you want, you can use equijoins and toArray and all those good things with it directly. And it's just convenient stuff. The other thing it allows you to do is to query using convenience methods like first and exists and destroy and so on. And it allows you to create database tables by passing in a string array. So that's there for you if you don't want to work directly with the RethinkDB driver.